Myles, we've had two of your five deep truths. The first is we get on our own way. The second is we have a unique individual genius that we need to focus on and find. What are the next two?
Well, it's first thing to say is that actually all of these five and more are very interlinked. So you'll hear me refer back to the two we've mentioned, and you'll hear me talk forward into others as well. But the third one is that we have an innate capacity to learn. An innate capacity to learn. We learn to walk, we learn to speak without being taught. And then somewhere along the way, we forget that. We get involved in the teaching thing. We learn mostly and most effectively by trying, by doing, by succeeding, by failing, and learning mostly unconsciously from that process. The great Tim Galway, author of The Inner Game of Tennis and various other books, said this. He said, awareness is curative. So simple. The act of focusing on a skill, a behavior, brings change. And as I said, we forget that, and we become reliant on teaching. The consequences are both great and disturbing. Great in the sense of large and have an impact. And the first one is that we give away both responsibility and agency when we become reliant on teaching. Second part of that is that it results in a kind of an orthodoxy growing up, that there becomes a right way of doing things that teacher teaches. And that means that other possibilities are lost, and actually genuine self-expression is lost. You'll notice that geniuses often don't buy the orthodoxy. You know, entrepreneurs, almost by definition, do something different. It kind of shows up in the workplace too, that if you take everything that the hierarchy, your boss says you should do, you become a mere automaton. And we're not up for that. This starts with simply noticing. Another skill that I think we've also lost, just to notice, without judgment, without analysis, with no thought to consequence. And as you begin to notice, then you can ask yourself, of all the things I've noticed, what stands out? And that brings your imagination, your intuition, your feeling, your whole self into play. And what that does is it points you in a direction, it points your learning in a direction that brings about self-expression, that ultimately brings about, you know, your greatest effectiveness. And that then is what this one is about. It's by grasping hold of your innate capacity to learn, you get to self-expression, you get to effectiveness, you get to joy, you get to results.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful. And I must say, I haven't heard it explained by anybody else in this way. That's very, very deep, very profound.